In the annals of history, few civilizations have captivated the imagination quite like ancient Egypt, a land of towering pyramids, powerful gods, and enduring mysteries. But what if some of those mysteries were born not of this world, but from the missteps of a wayward traveler and his companions?
What begins as mere observation soon turns into intervention, leaving a mark on history far deeper than we ever intended. Join us for Clockwork Cortex Exploratorium, The Divine Mistake, Seeds of the Alien Myth. In the intricate web of the multiverse, where each thread connects to a reality both familiar and strange, today's discovery stands out. We've detected a world that mirrors Earth 1, its landscapes, its people, its history, but at a time long past. Ancient Egypt, to be precise. A place where the line between gods and men is blurred, where myth and reality intertwine. We arrive in the vast desert, where the sun blazes with an intensity that almost feels like a physical weight. The sands stretch endlessly, shimmering with the heat. In the distance, the Great Pyramid rises, a monumental structure, yet unfinished. Its rough edges stand out against the clear blue sky, the top still jagged and incomplete. Massive limestone blocks, some yet to be placed, litter the surrounding area, casting long shadows in the afternoon sun. Scaffolding, made of wooden poles, crisscrosses the sides, a network of primitive ladders and platforms that climb toward the heavens. It is a place of grand ambition, a silent promise of what's to come, a monument that will one day touch the sky. The workers, clad in simple linen kilts, move with a practiced rhythm, their muscles taut under the strain of lifting these colossal stones.
My heavens, Mr. Narrator. You certainly know how to paint a picture.
What?
If traveling the multiverse pans out, you can make a killing in the romance novel industry.
Ahem. Anyway, nearby, priests, dressed in white robes adorned with gold, oversee the work, their eyes ever watchful, as if expecting a sign from the gods.
Welcome to the desert. Hot, dry, and entirely unforgiving. We really know how to pick our vacation spots.
I already feel a sunburn coming on. Why couldn't we have arrived at night? It's cooler, and I'd look much better under moonlight.
Look at this place. The history, the architecture. It's like stepping into a living museum.
And with that, we donned our disguises, ready to blend in. Or so we thought.
Victor, are you really going to wear that? You'll stand out more than a camel in a tea shop.
Psh, what's the big deal? So I stand out a little, better than sweating buckets while you two play desert dress-up. Besides, this suit has a built-in AC. You really expect me to give that up?
Let's just hope your comfort doesn't come with unintended consequences.
Look at the precision, the scale. It's everything we've read about and more. The pyramid is magnificent, even in its unfinished state. And the theories. Some researchers, like Robert Bauval, believe the pyramids were aligned with Orion's belt as a way to connect with the gods, particularly Osiris. Others argue that the pyramids served as massive energy conductors, or even as landing pads for alien spacecraft. Of course, these ideas have been largely debunked by mainstream scholars, but the theories persist.
Magnificent? Well, it's certainly ambitious. But you know, they might have finished it faster with a little more ingenuity. All this brute strength when a bit of technology could have saved them centuries. And landing pads? Really? Sounds like someone's been watching too many sci-fi shows.
Indeed. While some theorize about alien intervention, most historians and archaeologists point to the ingenuity of the Egyptians themselves. Recent studies using satellite imagery and computer simulations, as published in the Journal of Engineering and Antiquity, suggest that the Egyptians likely used a combination of straight and zigzagging ramps, as well as water lubrication, to move and place the massive stones. No aliens required.
Von Däniken's theories have been widely criticized by the academic community. Critics argue that his work lacks credible evidence and relies heavily on speculation. For instance, his claims that the Egyptians couldn't have built the pyramids without alien technology are often refuted by pointing to the Egyptians' documented use of tools and techniques. Recent studies using 3D modeling and simulations have shown that ramps, levers, and water lubrication could have allowed the Egyptians to move and place the massive stones with remarkable efficiency. As mentioned by the narrator, the Journal of Engineering in Ancient Egypt published a paper detailing how these methods could have been used to achieve the pyramids' precise alignment and construction, without the need for extraterrestrial intervention.
So, let me get this straight. We're supposed to believe that ancient Egyptians, with their copper saws and wooden ramps, managed to build one of the greatest wonders of the world, while we're still struggling to keep our Wi-Fi from cutting out every 5 minutes?
I think they've noticed us.
The ancient Egyptians were known to be cautious yet hospitable to strangers. However, we were far from ordinary travelers, and their suspicion was understandable.
Okay, everyone, stay calm. I'm just going to activate the universal translator so we can, actually communicate with these guys.
Oh, good, because I've always wanted to explain quantum mechanics to a bunch of people who think the sun is a giant, flaming chariot.
Glitch, make it quick. They don't look like they're here to invite us to a tea party.
Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Hold on, let me just There, fixed it. Universal translator malfunction. Please select from the following available accent options: Cockney, Southern Belle, Transylvanian, or Pirate.
Ah, perfect. Just what we needed. An opportunity to make history by introducing the ancient Egyptians to a pirate with a Cockney accent.
It's not my fault. The database must be corrupted. Or maybe someone thought it would be funny to install joke voices instead of proper translations.
So, what's it going to be, Glitch? Are we explaining ourselves in R, matey, or howdy, y'all?
All right, brace yourselves, everyone. Let's go with Cockney. It's the least terrifying.
Hello, Governor. What brings your fine folks to this sandy old place, then?
Brilliant, Glitch. We're going down in history as the first people to confuse the ancient Egyptians into thinking we're all chimney sweeps.
Qu'est-ce qui vous amène dans le désert?
Oh dear God, no. Anything but French-Canadian. Change it, change it, change it.
I'll fix it. Just give me a minute.
Oi, what's all this then? You lot ain't from round here, are you? Come on, spill the beans. What you doing in our neck of the desert?
This is either going to end very badly or become a legend. Maybe both.
I repeat, strangers in our land. What brings you to the holy sands of Kemet?
Just passing through, admiring your primitive construction techniques. Quite impressive for such limited tools.
And there it was. The first seed of misunderstanding, planted by a simple question. Victor, of course, couldn't resist.
Emissaries, perhaps, but that's for you to decide.
As we approach the Great Pyramid, the scale of the endeavor becomes ever more apparent. Hundreds of workers move in a carefully orchestrated rhythm, their sweat and toil visible in every heave of stone and swing of mallet. The sun bears down upon them, relentless, yet the task continues, driven by a force greater than the sum of its parts. Among the clamor and dust, our presence is an anomaly, and it doesn't go unnoticed. The priests, particularly Tammuz, the elder among them, watch us closely, their curiosity growing with every step.
Could it be? Could they be more than mere travelers?
In their eyes, Victor was no longer just a strange traveler. His refusal to deny their suspicions only fueled their imaginations.
Victor, they're starting to really believe you're something divine. Maybe it's time to dial it down.
Nonsense. Let them think what they want. It's not like I'm performing miracles here. I'm just offering a little assistance.
You know, there's more to the alien theories than just the pyramids. The Tully Papyrus supposedly records an ancient UFO sighting during the reign of Thutmose III, a circle of fire in the sky that some interpret as an ancient encounter with extraterrestrials. But most historians dismiss the document as either a modern forgery or a misinterpreted natural phenomenon, like a meteor or a solar halo. Still, it's fascinating how these stories persist.
And don't forget the Ben stone, a sacred object in Heliopolis, said to have descended from the sky. Some theorists believe it was an alien artifact, possibly a beacon or a power source. But mainstream historians interpret it as a symbol of creation, representing the primeval mound from which the world was created according to Egyptian mythology.
And then there's the Sphinx itself, Some believe it predates the pyramids by thousands of years, possibly built by a lost civilization, or, according to some fringe theories, by extraterrestrials. The Inventory Stela mentions that the Sphinx was already standing when Khufu ascended the throne. But most Egyptologists argue that the stela was commissioned much later and should not be taken as a reliable historical record. According to the Journal of Ancient History, it's more likely that the stela was an attempt by later rulers to connect themselves to the divine legacy of earlier pharaohs.
So, let me get this straight. We've got UFOs, alien batteries, and a cosmic egg all wrapped up in one big conspiracy theory. And here I thought I was the only one with an overactive imagination.
And then, there's the theory that the pyramids themselves were designed to represent a cosmic egg, a symbol of creation in many ancient cultures. According to this theory, the pyramids were built to harness cosmic energy or communicate with extraterrestrial beings. But again, this idea is largely speculative and lacks credible evidence.
Scholars tend to view the pyramids as monumental tombs designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife, rather than as devices for cosmic communication.
You speak of strange things, traveler. Your words suggest you possess knowledge beyond our understanding. Tell me, do you bring wisdom from the gods?
Wisdom, perhaps. Let's just say I know a thing or two about building a thing or two, and maybe about making things a little easier.
We serve the gods, and in their service, we seek to honor them with our works. Yet even with all our devotion, the challenges we face are many. The stones are heavy, the labor immense. If you have knowledge that could ease our burden, then surely it must be a gift from the gods themselves.
Tarmos's words hang in the air, laden with the weight of expectation. He is testing Victor, trying to gauge the true nature of the man before him. In this moment, the line between divine messenger and mere traveler blurs, at least in the eyes of the priests.
This is getting intense. If he plays this wrong, they might start worshipping him for real.
Or worse, they might expect miracles.
Great one. I see your struggles. Perhaps there is something I can do to help. But know this, it is not the gods who will move these stones, but the hands of your people, guided by a bit of wisdom and a touch of knowledge.
Great one, if you are indeed blessed by the gods, perhaps you could offer your divine aid in our time of need.
And so, with the weight of expectation heavy on his shoulders, Victor prepares to intervene. It is a moment fraught with possibility and danger. For what he does next will not just move stones, but shift the very foundations of belief, both here and in the history that will follow. Every action he takes plants the seeds of causality, seeds that will grow into legends, myths, and, perhaps, misunderstandings that will echo through time.
In the land of sands where the Nile flows, where the sun above in radiance glows, lived gods and goddesses, wise and grand, their stories carved in Egypt's land.
Ra, the sun god, bold and bright, guides his chariot through the light. Each day he rises, bringing dawn, and by dusk's end, his light is gone.
Isis, the mother, with love so deep, her wisdom in silence she will keep. She brought her love from death's embrace, with whispered words in secret place.
Osiris, king of the afterlife's reign, weighs your heart, its truth to gain. If lighter than a feather's touch, you'll find peace. If not, not much.
Thoth, the scribe, with quill in hand, writes the laws that guide the land, the god of wisdom, moon, and time. He guides us through the night's dark climb.
Anubis, jackal of the night, guards the tombs with steady might. He leads the souls to judgment's gate, where Osiris will decide their fate.
From Horus's eye to Set's dark way, each god has walked a sacred sway, in temples grand, their stories told, their legends strong, from days of old.
So here's to the gods of Egypt's might, who ruled the sands with ancient light. Their tales endure, both near and far, as bright as Ra's eternal star.
Well, that was fun. I think we've covered just about everyone, don't you?
Not quite, but it's a start. We'll have the crew humming this for days. Who knew education could be so poetic?
Night falls over the desert, the sky a canvas for something extraordinary. Victor, eager to cement his status, craves more than strength. He seeks the adoration of the masses. The pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt, reflecting a connection between the heavens and Earth, presents his opportunity.
The Orion alignment theory suggests the pyramids were part of a celestial map connecting pharaohs to the gods, showcasing the Egyptians' astronomical precision.
But some scholars argue the alignment isn't perfect, and the theory might be symbolic rather than an exact astronomical configuration.
Some believe this alignment was to ensure the pharaoh's soul ascended to the heavens. Others see it as evidence of extraterrestrial help.
So, they built these pyramids for a night sky view? Maybe they should have focused on air conditioning.
Eric von Däniken argued that ancient civilizations, including the Egyptians, were aided by extraterrestrials. Critics, however, maintain the Egyptians had the tools to build the pyramids themselves.
Discoveries of well-organized worker villages near the pyramids paint a picture of human ingenuity, not alien intervention.
So, toy birds that don't fly, light bulbs that don't light, and UFOs as space debris? Sounds like a reach. Next, they'll say the pyramids were alien landing pads.
Some do suggest that, but scholars argue these structures were religious or ceremonial, not extraterrestrial.
Then there's the Ben stone, which some believe was alien technology. Yet, most historians see it as a religious symbol, representing creation.
Proponents of alien intervention point to the engineering precision of the pyramids. But studies suggest the Egyptians used simple tools, like water-filled trenches and sighting tools, to achieve this.
The pyramid texts, inscribed on the walls, are sometimes interpreted as advanced knowledge, possibly imparted by extraterrestrials. But most Egyptologists view them as symbolic of the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife.
Some believe obelisks were energy conduits or transmitters, but most scholars see them as religious symbols, representing the sun god Ra.
The theory that hieroglyphs contain hidden codes or blueprints for advanced technology persists, but Egyptologists maintain they are a well-documented writing system with clear meanings.
The Sphinx, believed by some to predate the pyramids by thousands of years, has been suggested to be built by extraterrestrials. Most Egyptologists argue the stela mentioning this was commissioned later, not a reliable record.
Cosmic eggs, landing pads, alien batteries. These Egyptians had a lot going on. But if they were that advanced, they wouldn't need me to show them a proper light show.
Victor's antics remind us of the fine line between myth and reality. The mysteries of the past continue to captivate our imagination, pushing us to explore and question.
History isn't just about what happened, but how we understand it. Theories about alien intervention, while sensational, remind us there's always more to learn. These theories extend to other ancient cultures too, like the Nazca Lines and Stonehenge. Whether it's human ingenuity or something else, the legacy of these structures is undeniable.
A bit of light here, a flash there. This is what I call a divine revelation.
He's really going all out, isn't he? Do you think he even heard a word we said?
Not a chance, but it's probably for the best.
Victor's next move will not just shift stones, but the very foundations of belief. Each action plants seeds that grow into legends, myths, and misunderstandings that echo through time.
So, moving away from Victor for a moment, the theory that the pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, were designed as energy sources has captured imaginations. This hypothesis revolves around the unique properties of the materials used and the precise engineering. What is it?
I felt something odd just now. The way the moonlight and glow of our campfire reflects onto you juxtaposed with the ancient pyramids in the background makes me wonder.
Yes!
Are you malnourished?
Ugh, so close. Never mind, Mr. Narrator, getting back to our discussion. The Great Pyramid's granite, rich in quartz crystals.
I was just going to say you looked radiant, beautiful, like a star in the night sky.
What? Wait a moment.
Glitch, you were talking about the Great Pyramids?
Yes, the Great Pyramid's granite, cement, dirt made from stars. What was I saying?
Okay, I'll finish your thought. The Great Pyramid's granite, rich in quartz crystals, exhibits piezoelectric properties, suggesting it could harness natural earth energies. The pyramid's design may have focused and directed this energy.
Not to disrupt the lusty robots, so you're saying the Egyptians built a massive battery. Fascinating, if a bit optimistic.
Recent studies propose the pyramid's design resonated with Earth's natural frequency, possibly converting seismic energy into usable power.
Could they have truly been so advanced? Or is this another case of overestimating humanity's capabilities?
The original casing stones, made of Tura limestone, could have insulated energy. The pyramid might have acted like a Tesla coil, distributing wireless energy.
A giant power plant, wireless energy, yet here we are, still struggling with phone battery life.
The Dendera light bulb, a controversial artifact, has intrigued researchers. This carving in the Temple of Hathor appears to depict a bulb-like object emitting light, leading some to speculate the Egyptians had electric lighting.
Proponents of ancient astronaut theories see the Dendera light bulb as evidence of extraterrestrial influence, likening it to a Crookes tube.
Skeptics argue this interpretation projects modern concepts onto ancient art. Egyptologists believe the Dendera light bulb is a symbolic representation, possibly of a lotus flower or a snake.
It's either a prehistoric light fixture or just symbolism. We see what we want to see.
Experiments have recreated the Dendera light bulb as a working model, but this doesn't prove the Egyptians had such technology. It simply shows the concept is feasible.
Even if they did create light, what does that say about us? Are we as advanced as we think, or just rediscovering what was once lost?
The carvings at Abydos have sparked debate. These images, which resemble modern vehicles, have led some to speculate the Egyptians had advanced technology or contact with a superior civilization.
Proponents of ancient astronaut theory argue these carvings are evidence of knowledge beyond the scope of ancient Egypt.
However, Egyptologists believe these images result from palimpsest, where inscriptions were carved over earlier texts, creating unusual shapes.
So it's a giant Rorschach test. The Egyptians were either ahead of their time or victims of creative erosion.
Digital reconstruction confirms the images are overlapping hieroglyphs, depicting standard symbols. The futuristic imagery is coincidental. The alignment of the pyramids at Giza with Orion's belt suggests a connection between the pharaohs and the god Osiris.
The theory posits that the pyramids were a cosmic blueprint, mirroring the heavens on Earth.
Critics point out the alignment isn't as precise as suggested, with discrepancies due to the precession of the equinoxes.
So the grand cosmic alignment might be a little off? A bit disappointing for an eternal monument.
Some researchers suggest the pyramids were aligned with the Nile, symbolizing the Milky Way, or marked key agricultural events.
Were they trying to reach for the heavens, or ensure their crops would grow? Their ambitions were grounded in practicality, yet they couldn't resist the allure of something greater.
The Tully Papyrus, often cited as evidence of ancient UFO sightings, describes a circle of fire in the sky during Thutmose III's reign.
The Tully Papyrus mentions fiery discs that moved across the sky, causing alarm among the priests and pharaoh. This has been taken as an early recorded UFO sighting.
However, the authenticity of the Tully Papyrus is debated. Without the original text, its accuracy can't be verified.
So we're basing this on a translation of a transcription of a papyrus no one can produce? Maybe the fiery discs were just meteors or atmospheric phenomena.
Skeptics point out that ancient texts describing natural phenomena can be misinterpreted. The lack of evidence leaves the Tully Papyrus claims open to interpretation.
Is it possible we're filling in our gaps with aliens instead of gods? The Egyptians interpreted natural events as signs from the gods. Are we doing the same with aliens?
The engineering feats of ancient Egypt continue to astonish. The precision of the Great Pyramid of Giza has led to theories of advanced technologies or extraterrestrial assistance.
The Great Pyramid's base is almost perfectly level, with a deviation of just a few centimeters. Some suggest this precision required advanced surveying tools.
Recent research shows the Egyptians could have achieved this precision using simple tools and techniques like water-filled trenches and rudimentary sighting tools.
No laser levels or GPS, just water and a good eye? Seems underwhelming for a civilization supposedly in contact with advanced aliens.
The construction of obelisks, carved from single blocks of granite, presents another challenge. Archaeological evidence suggests the Egyptians used copper tools, wooden wedges, and water to split the stone and sledges to transport the monoliths.
It's poetic that such monumental achievements could be accomplished with determination, ingenuity, and a bit of water.
Erich von Däniken's Chariots of the Gods sparked a global fascination with ancient extraterrestrial contact. His theories, though controversial, have had a lasting impact on both popular culture and alternative archaeology.
Von Däniken suggested that ancient monuments, myths, and unexplained artifacts pointed to extraterrestrial influence. His ideas challenged conventional history and opened new avenues of inquiry.
Critics argue that his theories are based on misinterpretations and selective evidence. Many artifacts he cites have been explained through more conventional means, and his approach lacks rigorous scientific methodology.
He saw aliens in every hieroglyph and spaceship in every myth, a compelling narrative, but when you see little green men behind every corner, it might be time to check your perspective.
Von Däniken's legacy is a double-edged sword. While criticized for lacking scholarly rigor, he encouraged questioning established narratives and considering the possibility that history is more complex and mysterious than we realize. The pyramids of Egypt and those of Mesoamerica, such as Teotihuacan, share striking similarities, leading to speculation of shared knowledge or contact between these distant cultures.
Both cultures constructed pyramids aligned with celestial bodies, reflecting a shared understanding of the cosmos.
Mainstream archaeology holds that the similarities are coincidental, arising independently in response to similar environmental and cultural challenges.
Two different civilizations, half a world apart, just happened to come up with the same idea. Pyramids aligned with the stars, no big deal, just a coincidence.
Advanced dating techniques and DNA analysis find no evidence of contact between the old and new worlds during these pyramids' construction. The similarities reflect a universal human impulse to reach for the heavens.
Humans, no matter where they were, looked up at the same sky and dreamed the same dreams. But if we're all capable of such greatness, why do we often fall short?
Ancient Egyptian beliefs and iconography have influenced modern alien theories. Depictions of gods with animal heads and references to the stars have been interpreted as evidence of extraterrestrial influence.
The gods of Egypt, with their humanoid bodies and animal heads, are often cited as evidence of genetic manipulation or hybridization by extraterrestrial visitors.
However, Egyptologists emphasize that these depictions are symbolic, representing the qualities and powers of the gods, rather than their physical forms.
So, we're talking about gods as metaphors, not as literal visitors from the stars. Maybe we're just projecting our fascination with aliens onto a culture that was happy to keep their gods symbolic.
The influence of Egyptian iconography on modern alien theories is also seen in the interpretation of the pyramids as landing sites or energy hubs for extraterrestrial craft.
We're so eager to find proof of something beyond us, aliens, gods, that we risk losing sight of the real achievements of these ancient people. Maybe the true mystery isn't what they knew, but how they knew it.
The concept of Heka, or magic, in ancient Egypt was not just mystical belief, but an integral part of their understanding of the world. Heka was seen as a force that could be harnessed for practical purposes, blending the mystical with the practical.
In ancient Egypt, magic and science were intertwined. The same texts that contained spells also described surgical procedures, leading some to suggest the Egyptians' magic might have been an early form of technology.
However, most scholars argue that Heka was symbolic, reflecting the Egyptians' worldview rather than a literal form of technology.
So, their technology was more about belief than actual gadgets. Sounds familiar. We've all got our version of Heka, whether it's a lucky charm, a ritual, or wishful thinking.
Yet, the Egyptians achieved feats that seem magical. Their medical practices, for example, included the use of herbs and surgery that were advanced for their time.
It's fascinating that what we call magic was just another way for them to understand their world. But it also makes me wonder, if they were capable of such knowledge, what else did they know that we've lost?
Sacred. The connection between magic and technology in ancient Egypt reminds us that our ancestors viewed the world through a lens combining the spiritual and the practical. Their legacy of Heka continues to inspire exploration of the boundaries between the known and the unknown, the possible and the impossible. The air is thick with anticipation, the kind that follows a miracle, or a disaster. Victor projects equations and schematics onto the Great Pyramid. The people of this ancient land have seen the sky dance, their gods speak, and now they kneel before a man who, moments ago, was little more than a stranger. But in their eyes, he is no longer just a man. The seeds of causality have taken root, and with them, the delicate balance between free will and fate begins to unravel.
This is getting out of hand. Victor, do you realize what you've done? They're not just impressed, they're worshipping you. If this keeps up, you won't just be a visitor in their eyes. You'll be a god, and if you're a god, then I want trinkets.
And what's wrong with that? Wait a moment, you're okay with this? Okay, my dear. You want trinkets? You get trinkets, the sky's the limit. You, my child, shall have the entire market. Hey there, Golden Jeeves. Get this girl as many baubles and don't stop till it touches the sky.
Yay!
What are you two looking at? Maybe it's time they learned a thing or two about progress. Besides, I'm hardly the first to be mistaken for a deity. History is full of figures who walk the fine line between man and myth.
But those figures, whether they were pharaohs or emperors, often paid the price for that power. And so did the societies that followed them. We're not just playing with their beliefs, Victor. We're rewriting their history, theories about alien intervention. They all start with something like this: a moment, a figure, an event that spirals out of control. What happens when the stories we create become the myths they live by?
Shiny trinkets. I love you, Mr. Victor.
It's a delicate thread we walk, this interplay between causality and free will. Every action we take echoes through time, rippling outward, touching lives and shaping futures we cannot see. And when those actions are taken under the guise of divinity, the consequences are magnified tenfold. We've crossed a line, and the question now is not whether we can step back, but whether we should have stepped forward in the first place.
What about all the figures who walk the fine line between man and myth? Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, even Pharaoh Akhenaten had his moment in the sun. And let's not forget the lesser-known ones like Emperor Tiberius, Claudius Maximilian the Magnificent, or I don't know, King Glorfindel the Golden.
Ah, yes. Good old King Glorfindel. Famous for inventing the wheel of cheese, wasn't it? And let's not forget his cousin, Queen Seraphina the Serene, who once convinced an entire civilization to worship a particularly large turnip.
Hell yes. And how could we overlook Sir Barnabas the Baffling, famous for inventing the invisible door which he claimed could only be found by those with true vision? Unfortunately, no one ever found it. Or Lady Euphonia the Eloquent, who was said to have spoken so beautifully that people wept just hearing her order breakfast.
Ah, Sir Barnabas, the visionary who left everyone baffled. And Lady Euphonia. Legend has it, her toast was always perfectly buttered too.
In every myth, there's a grain of truth, and in every truth, a seed of myth. The figures Victor named, whether real or imagined, all played a role in shaping the societies that revered them. But at what cost? For every Alexander, there's a city raised. For every Caesar, a republic lost. And now, Victor's name will join theirs, a cautionary tale of what happens when power is unchecked by wisdom.
Well, let's just hope they don't start demanding miracles. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, but I'm not exactly in the business of parting seas or turning water into wine.
I don't know, Victor. I think they'd settle for a decent rainstorm at this point. Just be careful. You don't want to end up like King Glorfindel. I hear he choked on that wheel of cheese.
Something's happening. Something that wasn't part of the spectacle. A disturbance in the natural order. But this, why does it feel like it's expected? Like this is supposed to happen?
What is that? Victor, what did you do? This can't be a part of your light show.
Do? Me? I didn't do anything. It's just a harmless, well, mostly harmless, okay, potentially hazardous chunk of rock hurtling toward the Earth. But it's not going to hit us. Probably.
Probably? That's not exactly comforting, Victor. And what's with the sudden switch from God of War to God of Wimping Out? You're not exactly inspiring confidence here.
No, it's supposed to be there. That meteor. It's a part of this world's history. A moment that was always meant to happen. It's not here to destroy, it's here to remind.
Right, a reminder. Sure, I knew that. I'm just assessing the situation. A strategic retreat might be in order, just in case, the gods are watching. No point in tempting fate.
A strategic retreat, huh? Funny how your strategy always seems to involve running in the opposite direction. So much for godly courage.
I think we found your true divine role, Victor. God of running away. But seriously, that meteor, it's no coincidence, is it? It's a part of something bigger, something we're just beginning to understand.
The universe, perhaps it is correcting itself. But no, that's not it. This was always meant to happen. Not a correction, but a continuation, a cycle, a part of the greater pattern that we were meant to witness, meant to be a part of. We didn't disrupt it, we enabled it.
What do you mean? Enabled what? This feels like a mistake. Like we've caused something we can't control.
No, Aurora, this is not a mistake. It's necessary. Our presence here, at this exact moment, it was always intended. The meteor, the figure. This is all part of something far beyond our understanding. We're not just observers. We're participants in a cycle that has repeated across time. And what we've done, it needed to be done.
So, we were meant to be here then? Well, that's a relief. I'd hate to think we were messing things up on accident, but what about that figure?
The figure, it's part of the cycle too. A witness, perhaps, or a harbinger. Its presence is a sign that everything is as it should be, even if we cannot yet see the full picture.
Right. A sign. Nothing to worry about then, just another piece of the puzzle. And maybe one we don't need to solve just yet.
In the end, moral ambiguity lies not just in the choices we make, but in the unseen consequences of those choices. We came here to observe, but in doing so, we've become part of the story. A story that was always meant to be, with or without our interference. The lines between right and wrong, power and responsibility, blur even further with each step we take. And now, we face the reality that perhaps the only true divinity is in accepting our own limitations.
This isn't just about us anymore. It's about the impact we've had, the ripples we've created. Maybe we didn't cause this, but our presence here, it's altered something fundamental. And now, we have to live with the consequences of our meddling.
So, we came, we saw, we complicated things. And now the universe has sent a little reminder of where we stand. Maybe it's not all bad though. After all, we did get to see Victor try to outrun a meteor. That's worth something, right?
We must ensure that no trace of our interference remains. These people were never meant to worship us, Victor, but their own gods. It's time to let them return to the path they were always meant to follow.
You know, if someone finds a random laser projection of your face in 1,000 years, they might start worshipping you all over again. I'd say that's a good reason to double-check everything, wouldn't you, Victor?
Yes, I get it. No more divine light shows. Next time it needs more spice bam. I'd hate to think I'd accidentally become the patron saint of running away.
It's strange, isn't it? How easily people can be swayed, how fragile belief can be. One moment, they're looking to us for guidance, and the next, they're back to their old ways. It makes you wonder, what really drives faith?
Faith is a complex thing, Aurora. It's built on more than just gods and rituals. It's the foundation of a culture, the bedrock of a civilization. And yet, it can be shaken by the simplest of things. A flash of light, a word spoken at the right time, or a figure glimpsed in the dark. Our role here was never to be the architects of their belief, but rather the guardians of their history.
They've gone back to their true gods, just as they were meant to. It's a relief, but also a reminder. We're just visitors here, no matter how much we think we can influence.
Influence. It's like trying to polish a turd, isn't it? You think you're doing something noble, but all you end up with is a shiny mess. Why is it that my brilliance always seems to backfire?
And yet, our presence here has already left its mark. Perhaps not in the way we intended, but it has. The echoes of this night will carry through the ages, and what we've seen, what we've done, will be remembered. Though perhaps not as we intended. A transmission? From our own ship? But how? This is impossible. The signature matches perfectly, unless could it be from me? 2 scholars, a grand library. This is modern Earth 1. But why does this transmission feel so familiar? And these artifacts, they're real. Genuine puzzles from history that have baffled scholars for years.
And here, we see the depiction of what some believe to be an alien influence, a figure descending from the heavens, aiding in the construction of the pyramids. But look at these details. The elongated head, the strange tools. These are not typical of Egyptian art.
Or it could be a misinterpretation. The figure might represent a deity, not an alien. But the coincidences are hard to ignore. The alignment with the stars, the precision in construction, and these artifacts we've found, none of them fit with the known technological capabilities of the time.
They speak of artifacts, real, tangible objects that have long puzzled historians. The Dendera light, the Saqqara bird, the Abydos carvings, each one a piece of a larger puzzle, each one supporting the idea that ancient Egyptians may have had knowledge or help beyond their time.
The Abydos carvings, this one in particular. Some say it looks like a helicopter or even a spaceship, but how could the Egyptians have known about such things?
And this, what was thought to be just a bird, but could it actually be a model of an ancient glider? Or is it just a symbolic representation, misunderstood by modern eyes?
The artifacts are here, each one adding to the theory of alien assistance. And yet, they're also relics of a time when humans looked to the skies and saw gods, not technology. The truth is, perhaps, somewhere in between.
You seem familiar. Have we met before? How did you get in here? This is a restricted area.
The figure offers no response, only a slight nod before turning to leave. The scholars are left in stunned silence, their debate forgotten, replaced by a shared sense of something profound and unexplainable. They do not know that this figure, this moment, is part of the cycle, part of the legend they now seek to understand. A cycle, a legend. Could it be that our presence in the past has created ripples that reach even to this day? And that figure, was it truly one of us, or something else entirely? And so, our journey through the multiverse continues, each world offering new challenges, new lessons, and new connections. Today, we've explored the delicate balance between power and responsibility, between myth and reality, and the impact of our choices. But the multiverse is vast, and there are countless worlds yet to discover.
Victor, you've been quiet since we left. That's not like you.
Just thinking about what we did, what we almost did. It's not every day you're worshipped as a god, only to realize how dangerous that can be.
There's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. After Mindspire, when I was turned back into a teenager, I started remembering things. Things I hadn't thought about in a long time. That's when my life paused.
Paused? You mean you've been this way for longer than we realized?
Yes. It's like I'm trapped in this form, a teenager forever. But after Mindspire, a part of my humanity came back. I've realized something. I admire you, Victor. You've been like a father to me.
A father? Me? Aurora, why would you want a villain like me as a father? I mean, come on, I'm hardly the paternal type.
I'm serious, Victor. I want you to be my father. You've looked out for me, even when I didn't realize I needed it. And despite everything, I've come to care about you. I don't want to lose that.
Well, if you're sure, who am I to say no? But if you're going to be my daughter, there are a few ground rules. Top 3, right off the bat. 1, absolutely no asking me to clean your room. I don't do chores. You've seen the state of my quarters. If you can't find your way through a minefield of old socks and half-eaten sandwiches, well, that's just natural selection in action.
Your intern? What exactly would my responsibilities entail?
Oh, just the basics. Making sure my ego is properly inflated at all times, reminding me of my own brilliance, and keeping a tally of all the times I've heroically avoided certain doom. Which brings me to rule number 3. Never, and I mean never, interrupt me during my dramatic monologues. Those are sacred. A well-timed pause for effect is the mark of a true genius, and I'll not have it ruined by unnecessary interruptions like logic or common sense.
Deal. I think I can manage that. But you might have to work on that whole father figure thing. Interns don't usually expect hugs and bedtime stories.
Hugs? Bedtime stories? What do you think I am, some kind of sentimental softie? No, my dear. I'm far too busy devising our next daring escape or outwitting our enemies with my unparalleled strategic mind. But I suppose I could make an exception, once in a while, if I must, for you.
And so, our journey through the multiverse continues, each world offering new challenges, new lessons, and new connections. Today, we've explored the delicate balance between power and responsibility, between myth and reality, and the impact of our choices. But the multiverse is vast, and there are countless worlds yet to discover. Where will we go next? That's for you to decide. The multiverse is full of possibilities, and the next world we visit could be the one you've been dreaming of. So, fellow explorers, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell us, where in the multiverse should we venture next? Until then, stay curious.